Good afternoon, traders. Welcome to the weekly review of the market, where I update you guys on QQQ, SPY, and some of the news that I'm seeing, and as well as earnings that is coming up next week, and what are my expectations for next week is going to be. All right, let's get started. So QQQ first. So we are still looking at this 4-hour megaphone pattern, and we've been looking at it for a very long time. And I know you guys have been looking at this pattern as well for a long time. So this is resistance and support since the roughly April 5th. And after that, we have another megaphone that's smaller within the megaphone. So this is the one I'm going to be looking at before, if this one breaks, then I'm going to be looking at the bigger one. So far we have been bouncing perfectly off of this. We drew this one on Monday or Tuesday, and we can see Wednesday, Thursday, Fridays, it's just bouncing off of it exactly. We get gap down in the morning, then we bounce off of it. And we gap down in the morning, we bounce off of it again. So that's going to be my visual guide for now until I'm going to say it's definitely breaking on Tuesday due to tech earnings. So actually, let's get into earnings first. All right. So this is the earnings for next week. And Monday is not that big of a deal for me. There's not much going on. And Tuesday after close will be Microsoft and Alphabet. So those two are going to be key. And if I had to predict with my crystal balls, I'm going to say Microsoft usually does pretty well, or it does in line. If it misses, it doesn't miss much. Alphabet, on the other hand, I'm going to say is likely potentially going to miss because of advertising declines. It's been declining for the past bit of earnings, but who knows, maybe this quarter they didn't lose as much, and since they have been losing already, so we'll see about that. Meta and Snapchat for Thursday, usually similar deal with advertising. Usually when recession comes around, people don't advertise as much, so companies like Alphabet, Meta, Snapchat usually loses more money during recessions. So we'll see if they do end up losing more money, and it could potentially be a indicator for near-term recessions. I mean, even the Fed already told us that we're going to have a mild one later this year. So we'll see about that. And Amazon for Thursdays after hours close. They out of all the big techs, Amazon is usually one of the worst ones because they have been investing a lot of their money back into their company. So on the front end, it doesn't look like their earnings are that well. So I mean, its stock has been going sideways for almost 2-3 years, and so I'm not expecting much from Amazon as well. And the only one that usually does a little bit better is Apple, which is coming May, the week after this one. So we'll. I mean, if all four of these does pretty bad, even if Apple comes in decently, which I don't think it will. If all four of these does bad, Apple's likely going to be not doing so as either. So yeah, so that's earnings for next week, and based on that, QQQ will likely break out of its 2 weeks range for sure after these guys report. So let's go back to the charts. So you can see if I go on the daily chart, look how tight we've been since March 30th, literally sideways for 3 weeks. So we are within 320 and 312ish, this range. So this range breaks, then we'll have a lot of volatilities. When you get something like closer to this, you can see all these volumes down here and how fast it moves. So for something like back here, I remember we had one exactly like that, but even less, just right here, back in May 20, and it was only, let's see, 27th to June 10th. So that's about 2 weeks. And you can see once it breaks out of this range, we drop like a waterfall. That was because back then there's a lot of fear as well of the rates and recessions, everything combined together, and on top of all this drop as well. And yeah, so I don't see us, breaking. Let's say we break bear, I don't see us like just gap down 3 days, and but we will have a notable drop if we do break. Yeah, this is a 10% drop. No, definitely not going to happen for us at this kind of environment. Maybe it was something more like if it drops, breaks out of this range. Initially, it might be like a big move, and then we bounce a little bit and then drop more. Wouldn't be like a three-day gap down, 10% move in the indices, unless there's a black swan event. But as of now, nobody knows yet of that kind of thing. So yeah, so I'm looking for this range. So Megaphone breaks first, and then we'll test the bottom of 312. Let's get into. So the other thing I'm looking at is the VIX, which has been VIX is the fear indicator, which has been plummeting for the last 3-4 weeks. So if I'm a bull, it makes me really uncomfortable. I'm knowing how low the VIX is. If we're in this, essentially is saying VIX at 16 is pretty much saying, oh, there's absolutely nothing to fear about in the market, and we're just in a nice economy, everything's going well, and there's zero signs of inflation and all that kind of stuff. So this kind of VIX 16 would be something like back here and pre-COVID as well. You can see how low we were, just like in these ranges. Also during 2021, let's see what was in April 21. Yeah, April 21 we were at all-time highs. So I remember this area we were at all-time highs as well for the market, and like all-time highs, not just a 52-week high. So it's a little bit uncomfortable if you're a bull, and it also is in a sort of a support zone. You can see it's touched here, this black looking line touched here, and now we just bounced off of it. So I am watching to see if actually VIX spikes. If it spikes, and while we break that QQQ range bearish, then there's likely we have a big move. So that's coming out. This is definitely waiting for earnings to show up. We get like a bad Microsoft and Google earnings on Tuesday. This was just boom. This is probably like test this level right here. See how this wicks that we can get over. So probably bouncing roughly around 20s. And 12 EMA as well has been rejecting this teal looking line. Yeah, so it's setting up. Market is actually setting up pretty well for the bears if we do get bad earnings. And for the bulls, I don't know if VIX can just go down there, and I don't really see it. I mean, we never had we were all time highs back here, so I don't think VIX is just gonna plummet to lower than here, just for no reason. Inflation is still there. Recession is coming. Fed's gonna hike again in May, 25 basis point. It's priced in 80% or something right now. 70. I haven't looked, but it's pretty high. So yeah, I don't really see VIX dropping down to 14s or 15s at the moment. I mean, maybe like a wick down and then bounce right after that. So you have like a lower wick, like a fake out kind of thing. But other than that, I don't see it. All right, let's get into SPY. SPY, I mean, so if you look at the chart, everything is still very healthy. Like you don't want to if you're a bear, there's zero red flags on this chart at the moment. And if you're a bull, you can still hold your positions. We're still above the 12 EMA, bounce off of it twice here, bounce off of it once here, and we're still in a daily uptrend. You can see this is the uptrend continuing. This could just be another consolidation, just like this little part, right? We consolidated, boom, hit a new uptrend, new high. So if we go like that and bounce off of it, the daily uptrend continues. I have to look at it from both perspectives, from the bear and bull perspective. Especially if you're shorting, you want to look from the bull perspective to not be biased on your position. And if you're a bull buying, you want to look at the bearish perspective to not be biased on your bull position. So we're looking at both ways. For a bear, you can say, oh, we rejected, from this resistance zone. Same thing as back here. And you don't see it going higher. So you can set your stop loss here, above here, and hold your positions. And if you are a bull, you would have been adding back here. You don't want to be FOMOing and adding up here for sure. So let's say you added down here and you are just holding for the daily uptrend continuing. You would likely, once this bounces a little bit, you set your stop loss on this pivot. And if we don't make a new high and then drop back down, you just stopped out for a small profit since you've been adding down here, these levels. Last thing you want to do is adding once the move is done, and just adding at the top of resistance. And yeah, that's just last thing you want to do. So if you did that, if you add it on here, and then we confirmed a daily downtrend, then you can get out with a small loss, or it's up to you. It's SPY, because if you hold SPY for a long term, your outlook is 20 years or something, or 10 years, 5 to 10 years, right? I would say you do you, and because you're likely going to be green within 5 to 10 years. But for me, I'm more of a short-term trader, and I mean, I do have a SPY in my like long-term portfolio that I don't look at, but that's a different topic for now. And let's go to the semiconductor sector that I'm shorting. The reason I am still in this short is because it's so much weaker than QQQ. As you can see, QQQ has been going sideways since March 30th. So remember, QQQ was within this range, completely sideways. And you can see SOXX is at the lowest of its range, meaning QQQ would have been down here if it's relatively as same strength as SOXX. So XOXS is trading like down here. So if QQQ decides to roll over, test this level, XOXX is going to break this level and likely test this level. And then if QQQ breaks out of this 3 weeks range, bearish, then where's my XOXS? Then this thing is very likely going to break its weekly support as well down here. It's probably going to go like that and then break it even more. So bears are positioned really well if QQQ does roll over, but if QQQ decides to bounce and consolidate around here, then XOXX bears isn't going anywhere as well. It'll likely just be back in that range as well. So all eyes on earnings, pretty much. That's essentially the theme of next week. All eyes on Microsoft and Apple on Tuesday, Meta on Wednesday, Amazon on Thursday, and key would be Tuesday, because after Tuesday, most of the sentiment would be set, because Meta and Amazon, I would say, is less important than Google and Microsoft. Especially Microsoft is the biggest weighting in QQQ. It's right up there with Apple. So yeah, that's going to be the most key that I'm looking at. Apple will be reporting on the 5th, I think. Let's see here. Apple will be reporting on the 4th. Okay, so that's the Thursday of the after next week. So yeah, Apple, I've been talking about this black line resistance for a while, and we did get over it, but we couldn't get over this resistance right after that. And it looks like we are back into this black looking wedge. And same thing, QQQ is going to dictate where it wants to break for Apple. Microsoft, Google comes in bad, Apple very likely rolling over. You can see based on its past price actions where it always runs up into its earnings. And then same thing back here. Where was that? Back here as well. We ran up into earnings, and then earnings is over here. You can see we drop into earnings a little bit here as well. Ran up into earnings, and earnings was around here, and we could drop into earnings. So essentially, I think that might happen as well for Apple. Here is not so much. I mean, we're coming off of the lows. Let's see here. Yeah, a little bit here, not that much. I mean, we did kind of pop into earnings and drop again. And also, this is very notable pop. This move from low, yeah, it's 34% move for one of the biggest stocks in the market is a lot of money. So yeah, we're into earnings. So with this potentially a same pattern again, that we drop into earnings or drop after earnings. So we'll see. And Apple decides to roll over. QQQ is definitely rolling over because Apple is pretty much the biggest weightings in QQQ, and Microsoft was only like 0 point something percent, 0.2 or 0.3% behind, not much behind, but Apple is the biggest weighting for sure. And I think that's all I got for you guys. Let's see if I missed anything. I did a big tech resistance of all the big tech stocks. on Wednesday. So if you want to check that out, it's on my YouTube long form where I did a breakdown of all the resistance for Google, Microsoft, Amazon, Apple. I did a detailed key resistance breakdown where it would be likely rejecting, and so far it rejected after that video. And those are the key levels I'm watching, if it can break or not. So yeah, keep an eye out for the VIX. It's definitely something is definitely boiling here. I mean, look how relaxed we are. So in the 16s, if VIX spikes, that means the market volatility will increase as well as the size of its move. So the higher the VIX, the more potential, the bigger the move. So let's see, like we're up here. This VIX is up here, then the market can move 3-ish%. Down here, mostly like 1 to 1.5% per day kind of volatility. So yeah, so we're gonna see if we get that. And Tesla, I did a detailed Tesla breakdown on Thursday about talking about this weekly support. So essentially, that weekly support was broken, so it's in a weekly downtrend. And the only support that I'm looking at right now is the Thursday's low. Thursday, the low breaks, we're going to go fill this gap. So, and then that's going to be the support, this one, by filling the gap, 146. And after that, it's going to be all-time lows because there's not a lot of support down here. I don't really see it breaking 145, to be honest. Who knows? It may just be reactional, but we'll see. And let's see if I wonder if there's a. Let me see. Let's see if we can find a wedge here. Sorry, that's not it. Can you give me a second? Nope. It's only 2 touches, so none of that. It's valid at the moment. So no. Yeah, so the chart's not looking good. It's in a weekly and daily downtrend. Everything downtrend 4 hours. And the bulls really need to hold Thursday's low. Otherwise, we're definitely filling that gap for the bears. All right, I will update you guys on Monday for daily market update. Feel free to subscribe and comment on any questions you guys got and update the market daily. And I hope you guys have a great rest of you guys' weekend. I just got home from scuba diving, and maybe I'll post some of my scuba diving videos in the future. But as of now, I will let you guys know Monday after market, and I'll update you guys as well on Tuesday after those earnings. And I will see you guys around. Have a great weekend.